Book of the Dead, Magic and Theology, The Mysteries of Osiris. The Mysteries of Osiris, Part 1. The Mysteries of Osiris ritually reenacted and reactivated the salient episodes of the Osiris myth, realizing and perpetuating the ultimate prevalence of good over evil, of life over death. As with the myth, there are numerous different versions, played out all over Egypt and over a period of several millennia. And as with the myth, classical authors have preserved valuable information even though one would wish that Herodotus, for one, had been less piously reticent about his knowledge. Referring to the nocturnal performance of the god's sufferings, which the Egyptians call the mystery rites, on the sacred lake at Say, the historian, who had traveled Egypt in the 5th century BC, added, although I am familiar with the details of this performance and how each part of it goes, I will keep silence. Even though many of these mysteries were to be kept secret, not to be witnessed by anyone uninitiated, we are quite well informed by native sources as well. In a number of temples the rooms dedicated to the Osirian rites have been preserved, and of these some are furnished with a wealth of ritual scenes and texts. It is also a stroke of luck for today's scholars that for a while, primarily during the early Ptolemaic period, Osirian liturgies inscribed on papyri formed part of the burial equipment of a priestly elite. As grave goods, hidden away in dry rock chambers, papyrus rolls stood a much better chance of survival than in the library of a temple situated in the midst of a settlement on damp, alluvial ground, and exposed to the vicissitudes of the structural and cultural changes throughout the millennia. The most eminent and best known of the Osiris mysteries, the Khoic festival, Egyptian Ka, Her, Ka, of obscure meaning, was celebrated all over Egypt during the 4th month of the year, which was named after it. In the Greco-Roman period it would unfold over the course of 15 days, starting on 11th Khoic. This date would ideally coincide with the new moon, the day or rather night of the absolute invisibility of the moon. The festival would then culminate 14 days later at full moon. Synchronized to the waxing moon, Osiris would correspondingly heal and be rendered complete. The Khoic festival is remarkably well known, not primarily because it was the most important Osiris festival, but due to an extensive wall inscription in the sanctuary of Osiris on top of the Hathor temple at Dendera. This Khoic text, running to 159 lines, is made up of 7 manuals concerning the manufacturing and treatment of the Osiris figures and their rites, specifying countless local variations. What this extremely valuable source lacks is information on the recitations accompanying all those rites. It is solely concerned with the practical side of the proceedings. Curiously, too, there is not a single reference to the name of the festival in the Khoic text in the majority of such manuals, as in the ritual texts themselves. Only specific calendar dates appear, month 4 of the Akhet season, day 25, for instance, meaning 25 Khoic. Osiris mysteries were celebrated throughout the land, and although there were several major cult centers of the god, such as Osiris, Memphis, and Heliopolis, Abydos was without a doubt the most important one. The specifically Abd manifestation of Osiris, Osiris Kentamenti, for most of the Westerners, Yusawi the dead, was the default recipient of most rituals, and the wider area around the Osiris temple had become informed by its mythical implications and the desire of the people to be close to the deity who represented their hopes of an afterlife. The cult of Osiris at Abydos was inextricably linked to the royal funerary landscape of the place. Long before Osiris was introduced there, the burial ground of the kings of the first and second dynasties had been created at Kab, a low desert hill. While Osiris is associated with Abydos already in the pyramid texts of the 5th dynasty, it is only with the rise of the Middle Kingdom, when royal tombs were once more erected in Abydos, that his cult was firmly established. The Osiris temple complex at the very edge of the Louvre plain was situated adjacent to the royal mortuary enclosures with their huge brick walls. In later periods, the famed Osiris processions, see below, would emerge from a portal facing these enclosures, heading to the cluster of royal tombs out in the desert at Am el Kab.